Well, welcome to the next episode of the Lachie Does 2026 Footy. For this week, we'll be taking a look at round 3, the ladder after round 3, and my round 4 predictions. Round 3, Thursday night, Crows and Geelong at the Cattery. Well, we were kind of getting back to normal service here. We were unlucky. Well, we had the lead in the last quarter, but these umpires in this one, they just didn't know what the last touch rule is. Or they just allowed like what, 11 ball ups in like 4 minutes to allow Geelong to get Dempsey a goal. You need to take a hard look at yourselves and read the rule book. If you're going to favour one team, umpires, just umpire under 8 games. And then learn how to umpire senior footy. Not being rude, just an advice. And that's coming from a Crow supporter. Friday night footy, Collingwood and the Giants at Marvel Stadium. I didn't really watch that game, and GWS, they didn't do that well. They got absolutely humiliated by Collingwood. Well, where was the GWS from last year, or 2024 or 2023? It's all gone. Comes to show the Clayton Oliver curse continues. Look at that, Melbourne's been playing good footy without him. Saturday afternoon footy, St Kilda versus Fitzroy at Marvel Stadium. How good with the Fitzroy Lions? They won by 33 points against St Kilda. And the bad part is, well, there's going to be no Darcy Gardner for Thursday night against Collingwood. He's out injured again. Well, the poor man just can't catch a break. I've got a feeling, this might be his last season. Darcy, you're a champion of the game, mate. But you need to look after your body first. I've got a feeling, this will be time for him to retire. Saturday twilight, Fremantle and Richmond at Optus Stadium. 13-25! Oh dear, Richmond were lucky to Fremantle kick 25 behinds. If half of them were actually goals, Fremantle would have won by over 100 points. Yeah, this is worrying. This is worrying signs for the men from Punt Road. Belted by the Gold Coast last week. Belted by the Dockers this week. Saturday night footy. Essendon versus North Melbourne at Marvel Stadium. Somebody call the police. Essendon are playing like frauds again. They promised success for the next 5 years, only to end up with the worst administration and worst record of all time. Oh my days. They could be the first team to go 0-23 at this rate. Somebody check in on Essendon to see if they're actually playing football. Sunday, Port Adelaide and West Coast at Adelaide Oval. Wow. Those trousers. What a game that was. We all expected Port Adelaide are going to win that match, and they were up by like, just about 30-odd points in the first quarter. But what a comeback by the Eagles. 2 points up. The umpires nearly won the game for Port Adelaide, but West Coast hung on in the last few minutes. to get the job done by a kick. Is this young side following the same path of 2011? Time will tell. Carlton and Melbourne at the MCG. Well, somebody call the police. Carlton are on fraud watch. 43 up in the second quarter against Melbourne. 44-1. And you're still going out and lose? How could they be 40 points up and they still manage to lose? That's another new way to lose. Well, I like that 51-point first. I like that game against Richmond last year when they were up by 47 in the second quarter and they still went ahead and lost by 12 points. This is giving me flashbacks of that game when this one Melbourne came from 43 points down to get the job done. Oh my! And I thought I'd written him off pre-season. Jack Steele, well, he's continuing to surprise me. He's been playing really good footy since he left St Kilda to join Melbourne. Anyways, let's look at the ladder. Last place we got Essendon. Richmond are last. Essendon are 17th. 16th is actually Carlton. 15th is GWS. 14th on the ladder we've got St Kilda. 13th is the Lions. 12th, it's my boys, the Adelaide Crows. 11th, we got Port Adelaide. Zayden, if you're watching this, well, at least your boys are ahead of mine. 10th, we got Geelong. 9th is the West Coast Eagles. 8th is Melbourne. 7th, Collingwood. 6th, we got the Kangaroos of North Melbourne. 5th, Hawthorn. 4th on the ladder, we've got Sydney. 3rd on the ladder, Freo Dockers. 2nd, it is the Western Bulldogs, while Gold Coast are top of the table. Anyways, let's move on to round 4. Brisbane and Collingwood at the Gabba. For this week's prediction, I'm going with Collingwood this week. I reckon because of a few injuries Brisbane have got. We've got no they got no Gardner down back and no Andrews. I reckon the Magpies will get the job done by about 35 points. Friday night, the Super Clash, North Melbourne and Carlton at Marvel Stadium. I'm going to Kangaroos by 47 points in this one. Friday night, Crows and Dockers at Adelaide Oval. I'm going to that game. I reckon Adelaide will get the job done by, I reckon, 1 point. Richmond and Port Adelaide at Marvel Saturday afternoon. Port Adelaide have had a tough week, and well, since they're back in Melbourne, and I've got a feeling I reckon the Tigers will get their first win of the season by about 27 points. Saturday night, West Coast and Sydney at Optus Stadium. It's the 20-year anniversary of West Coast 2006 Premiership. I reckon the Eagles might get it done by just. I'm calling an upset. I'm going West Coast by 8 points. Because they're in good form right now. Sunday, Melbourne and Gold Coast at the MCG. I reckon it'll be closer than most people think. I've got Gold Coast winning that game by, I reckon, 11 points. Oh, now we've got the Captain Obvious game. Bulldogs Essendon, Marvel Stadium. Western Bulldogs by 194 points. Western Bulldogs, they're going to break the record score. 38 to, I reckon they'll kick 240. They'll break Geelong's record from 1992. And I reckon the margin, I reckon this will break Fitzroy's record from 1979 when they won by 190 points against Melbourne. And I reckon this will pass Geelong's 186-point win back in 2011 against the Demons. Because I reckon the Dogs, they're going to get it done. I reckon they'll get it done by like about 194. This could be the last game of Brad Scott coaching Essendon. Easter Monday, Hawthorn Geelong at the cricket ground, MCG. I reckon the Hawks should get it done on Easter Monday by about 1 point. Anyways, this will wrap up the round 4 episode. Next week, we won't be recording this episode at the workshop because we've got something planned. This week and next week, and also I've got a few days of recording to do because of the gather.